Hello, welcome to the podcast. My name is Jenna, and I help you choose your whole self. And I do that in lots of different ways. One of the ways we've been doing that lately is to discover your core personal values, naming them and aligning to them so that you are living in a way that's fully authentic to you all the darn time. I've also been sharing some guests lately who are talking about their journeys into choosing their whole selves, whether it is through leadership positions, through chronic illnesses, or in other ways. I think it's so important to have role models to look to say, ooh, they're living in that way. I can do it too. And another thing that I like to do on this podcast is just share some musings, things that I'm discovering myself along the way. And that's what I'm going to be sharing today. So for those of you who have been following along, I was on a trip. I was on a vacation with my sister. My sister and I, we did a fun little sister trip to Europe. We were in Switzerland, we were in Paris, we were in London, and it was so much fun. She and I always have a great time together. And Switzerland, by the way, holy moly, I had not been there before. And I think the word that I would use for Switzerland is delightful. It's just a delight there. Everything was just quaint and beautiful and clean. And everyone was just, the men were just very dapper. The women were just very put together, but not in a like overly trying way, just in a just effortlessly natural way. So Switzerland was great. We got to go into the Alps, which we had the most perfect day, which doesn't always happen in February. Sometimes it's cloudy and rainy and dreary, which it was the other days that we were there. Except for the day that we got to go into the mountains. It was perfectly blue and sunny, and it was just as far as you could see, just pointy, snowy mountains. And it was just very, you can't help but sing the sound of music when you're up there, which is something we did on the gondola ride up to the top. And it was just gorgeous. And then Paris, of course, is so lovely. And here's one thing that I realized on this trip. So this was not my first trip to Paris. First of all, I just want to acknowledge the great privilege it is to be able to go on a trip like this, to escape your life, to escape the United States for a while and enjoy a change of scenery. Like, I do not take that privilege lightly at all. But again, this was not my first time in Paris, and I do like to go to new places that I haven't been. But something I recognized is that even though this was my third time in Paris, it felt like a totally new time. And one, it was because I was with my sister, so it was a totally different vibe. Two, I did things that I hadn't done before, stayed in a neighborhood I hadn't stayed in before. And three, there's just a different lens that we look through the world with when we revisit something from the past. And I know a lot of times we say like, oh, don't live in the past, don't go back to the past. And I do think that there's a lot of really beautiful information in the past and things that are worth visiting. Like, yes, we should be future focused and all these things. We shouldn't be like completely anchored in the past, but I don't think there's any harm in going back and revisiting your favorite movies, your favorite songs, cities you've been to before, people you love. Like, there is something unique that comes with experience and time and age and just perspective. So that was a cool thing. And it made me realize just the beauty that lives in the past and the power of revisiting those things today. And then we were in London, which is very, I can't find the right words to describe London. Again, this was not my first time there, but it is this very kind of regal vibe, kind of like buttoned up, but also just kind of fun and cool little neighborhoods with quirky things. Like, we spent time in Camden Town and just did a lot of shopping, by the way, on that day in Camden Town. But it was so great. And I think overall, having a change of scenery is so important. It was this reset that I didn't realize I needed. I mean, I knew I needed to have a reset. Like, I had a hellish few months and I was ready to get the fuck out of Dodge, and it was more needed than I thought it was. And again, you don't need to go overseas to get that fresh perspective. You can get a change of scenery by going to a neighborhood in your town that you never spend time in and just pretending you're a tourist, or, taking a little drive an hour or two away and doing a cool hiking trail in a place that you never go to. Like, there's opportunities for us to change scenery every single day. It doesn't have to be a giant trip, but there is so much power in just allowing yourself to be in a new place, experience things, and have that kind of reset in your mind. And that's what I did. That is what I did. And I came back and I felt very inspired to just throw stuff away. I'm very much in a flipping over a new leaf kind of reset vibe. And so I've been cleaning. I've been spring cleaning. And Sunday, I was going through my closets. What you don't see, by the way, if you are watching this on video, on the other side of this screen is just complete disarray in my office. I pulled everything out of my closets and I'm going through, I'm throwing things away. It's been very satisfying, just like bags of shit. Some of it that I'm donating, some of it just needs to be tossed. But as I was cleaning, I heard this sound. I'm like, what is that sound? I'm like, oh, it's thunder. I haven't heard that sound in a while. It was March 1st, and I'm like, oh, it's thundering out. And then lightning. I'm like, whoa, that's weird. And then it sounded similar to like someone whipping rice from on high down onto my home and my neighborhood. I'm like, oh shit, it's sleeting. It's thunder sleeting out. And I'm like, well, this is weird weather. And then I said to myself, like in a little haughty voice, I'm like, March sure is coming in like a lion. And then I'm like, what is that saying? And do people even use that phrase anymore? And then I had a really weird flashback of kindergarten, because in kindergarten, for some reason, they thought, hey, you know what we should put in the curriculum? March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. Let's teach those kids about that. And first of all, if you've never heard that phrase before, it is essentially saying it's like a weather prediction. If March comes in like a lion, meaning harsh, abrasive weather, it will go out like a lamb, like soft and warm and bright and sunny. And then vice versa. Like, it's kind of like how we have made the groundhog a meteorologist, and if he sees his shadow, it's whatever. I don't even know what it is. We'll have to ask Phil, Poxitani Phil, what that is. He can't talk, you guys. He's a groundhog. But similarly, we asked 6-year-olds to predict the March weather, and not only do that, but make a corresponding construction paper animal of your weather prediction. So, it's construction paper. We got some cotton balls to make those lambs, probably have some pipe cleaners for whiskers. I don't know. My mom was the kindergarten teacher, so I might ask her, like, what the heck were we doing asking children to do this? Because first of all, why do we need to learn about this? And then secondly, like, this feels like a stressful activity, kind of like for Phil predicting the springtime. Maybe I'm projecting probably on the mental health of these kindergartners who have to make this really important decision about the weather. It might actually be interesting, now that I think about it, to do a longitudinal study of which children picked lion and which picked lamb, and sort of like what life choices they've made and their level of optimism and positive outlook and such. I don't know. I'm feeling feelings for 6-year-old me having to predict this. And so I thought about this coming in like a lion business, and I looked it up on the internet, by the way. There's so much random shit on the internet about where this came from. Some of it is like about astrology, with Leo coming in the horizon at the beginning of March and Aries at the end of March. There's something about it being from a play, like an English play from, I don't know, like the 17th, 18th century. I don't know. You can tell that I got real bored and didn't care about the research I was doing on Google about this. But as I was thinking about what it means to come in like a lion, we think of this kind of like a negative, abrasive, growly sort of way. But when I was thinking about coming in to March like a lion, and of course it was March, I'm like cleaning my house, I'm starting fresh, I'm feeling inspired. I'm like, well, I want to come into March like a lion, because lions are super fierce. So think about a lion for a second. Okay, imagine a lion. What are you imagining? Is it like a boy lion with his big poofy hair? Is it a girl lion and she's like kind of like protective, and she's got those big old paws, or some other version of a lion. How would you describe it? How would you describe a lion? Like, if you were to look at a lion and say, what are they thinking? What would be that inner monologue? What are their thoughts? Because I was thinking about, coming in like a lion and what that means for me. Because when I think about a lion, I'm like, well, they're fierce. Like, when I imagine a lion is walking through the prairie, through the tall grass, and its eyes are focused, like a little bit downcast, like it's like coming at you. Just unbothered, right? Unbothered, focused. And I was even thinking about, when I was thinking about this lion expression, I was thinking about that Cillian Murphy meme where he's just got that face, like he's just completely skeptical and just like, what the fuck kind of face, like a little disappointed almost. I think of Cillian Murphy as a lion, and that is the energy I want to come into March with, like focused, unbothered, not giving a shit, bold, fierce. And what does that mean? For me, it means like keeping commitments to myself, keeping my word to myself, being fiercely protective of my time and my energy and my people, my pride. Right? Pride, the collective noun, not like me, my feelings of pride, but the collective noun of. But can we stop for a second for collective nouns? Because what? Pride, of course, is for lions. A murder of crows. A herd of elephants. What else? Let's take a look at some. I'm just gonna do a quick little Google of our collective nouns here. Okay, let's see. What about zebras? Do you want to know what a collection of zebras is? Dazzle. What? What about mice? Mischief. A mischief of mice. Ick. I do not want that. Not in my house. Let's see. What else? Quails. A bevy of quails. A litter of cubs. Okay, that's cute. Nightingales. It's a watch of nightingales. A troop of monkeys. What else? What's a good one? Owls. A parliament of owls. Oh, a clouder of cats. A gang of buffalo. A colony of bats. Okay, gross. There's a lot of them. There's a smack of jellyfish. Don't go over in that part of the ocean. There's a smack of jellyfish. You can use that one on your spring break. Pride of lions. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I forgot where. Let me pull my notes back up. I could spend a whole episode talking. You know what? Maybe this is just going to become a grammar podcast. We can talk about nouns. Every episode, we'll talk about nouns. We'll talk about adverbs, subjects, predicates. I did love learning grammar stuff. I love that shit. But anyway, coming into March like a lion. Again, that's my vibe this week. That is my vibe. I am feeling unbothered. I've got Cillian Murphy face. I'm not letting people get me down. I am focused. I am keeping commitments. Like, I have been in the yoga studio, I think, taken classes 4 times already this week. I'm feeling good. If there's something I want, I'm making it happen. I am not letting anyone get in my way. I am walking through the jungle, walking through the prairie. And then also I'm finding time to be like really cuddly and smushing my face on Charlie, and we'll get our big paws and like pet each other, right? So there's some cuddliness involved there. But also, it's okay if we want to come in like a lamb. We can be demure. We can be soft. We can be gentle. I think it's important to find that balance because, look, if I'm just nonstop fierce and focused, I need to find some time to slow down and rest and have some, calm, demure, lambish activities. It is so important to find that balance. So don't get me wrong. But let's think about what it looks like for you to come into March like a lion. All right, we've got this month of March. It is this transitional month between winter and spring. It's 31 days and it is yours. It is yours to create whatever it is that you want to create. It's all yours. And so to come in like a lion, what are the words? If you picked 2 words to describe the lion qualities that you are coming into this month with, what are they? And what does that look like for you this week and this weekend and next week? What will you be doing differently because you have those qualities? For me, unbothered is the number one in my mind. I am unbothered. Shit's not getting me down. I'm not overthinking things. I say that now. But really, like, doing things through the filter of that. What does that look like for you? And remembering that and moving with that pace in that intention. So what does that look like for you? I want you to ask a friend, like, hey, if you were a lion, what qualities would you have? That's a fun, weird conversation to bring up with a coworker this week. And hey, maybe you guys want to make little construction paper lions. Maybe I want to make construction paper lions. I probably won't do that. That doesn't feel like a very lion thing for me to do this week. But I am going to continue to be fiercely protective of my time and my energy and my pride, meaning my people, right? My people, like they are my people. So I would love for you to have this conversation with someone. I would love for you to have a conversation with me about what the lion qualities are that you want to have. And then, of course, you can reach me in the episode notes. I've got some ways there: LinkedIn, Instagram. Join my email list, for the love of God. That would be fun, right? We can email each other and be BFFs. What other things are going on? Like, rate, review the podcast. I have been woefully behind on watching all my television programs because I've been doing things like going to Europe and being a lion and doing other things with my time. But I am open to your recs. I did watch Heated Rivalry and I loved it. And man, what a story. And all the tears in those last episodes. So good. But I'd love your recommendations. And what else? I've been baking scones because I'm trying to recreate the tea party that we had in London. We had a really amazing afternoon tea. And you know what? I'm going to have tea parties. I decided I want to have tea parties. So if you want to come over and have a tea party with me, maybe we can make construction paper lions. We won't do that, but we will eat scones and maybe little crustless sandwiches with a cucumber on it or something. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm up to right now. And we've got some more guests coming up in the weeks and months to come. I've got some changes coming up. Like I said, I'm feeling a new leaf. I'm feeling a reset. There's going to be some changes coming on to this podcast and just how I'm approaching things. So get ready for that. But in the meantime, just frickin' be a lion. Be a Cillian Murphy faced lion. And keep making room for what matters. All right? Out with the old, in with the you.